whose last name I always say wrong. Tufan, is that right? Did I say it right?
Tufan. It's perfect.
Okay, Tufan. And we're going to be doing the Solidify teardown. But before we get started, I've got to send the link out to everybody because we had a little issue with everybody getting these links. So 1 second, let me get the link out to everyone, and we'll get started with this. All right. There it is. How do I get this link? All right, here we go. There we go. I just had to post the link into the thing. All right. Make sure everybody's good to go. And
let's go.
Let's go. All right. So let's do some quick introductions. And sorry for the quick delay on that. Let's do some quick introductions from Quinn and Matthew and Florin. And I think everybody here knows me. And then let's take a look at this website and start tearing it down. And I think, by the way, for the teardown, we're going to do the external website first and the marketing side of things. And then we're going to take a look at the app as well, if we have time closer to the end. Sound good to everybody?
Yep. That's great.
All right, cool. Ladies first. Quinn, you want to do your quick introduction?
So my name is Quinn Zeta, and I run Zeta Labs, which is a conversion rate optimization design agency where we help seven-figure businesses increase their revenue by transforming their website and stuff. I'd say our most famous project is 16personalities.com. And I'm also working on a user testing SaaS startup, whatever you want to call it, called Conversion Crimes.
Which has some really cool features. I looked at Conversion Crimes and it's pretty sweet. All right, Matthew?
Hey there, I'm Matthew Krivanek, VP of Marketing at a company called Incident IQ, which is a SaaS-based business that serves K-12 school districts in the United States. We support millions of teachers and students with help desk ticketing and asset management. My background, I've been in digital marketing for about 2 decades, been all around the block in terms of all the different niches, had a design background, focus in information architecture, and I'm looking forward to this teardown today.
Perfect. And Matthew and I actually went to school together. We went to college together, and some of my very first experiences with Photoshop years and years and years ago were based on your recommendations, Matthew. So when I first got going, I remember like you and I, it was near Terry College of Business. We were standing outside and we were talking about Photoshop, and I was telling you the problems that I was having, and you were like, "What? what?" And it was completely because I had no freaking idea what I was doing at the time. But you gave me some suggestions, which I don't remember what they were anymore. But I went back and I tried them out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, maybe that guy knows what he's talking about." So yeah. So that was I think around both of our starts, and you definitely helped me out with that. So it's good to see you again. It's been a while. Likewise. And then Florin, introduce yourself, man. I know you just had your interview on Friday, but yeah, for anybody who didn't see it.
I'm the guy whose ass gets kicked today. My name is Florin. I'm the founder of Solidify, which is a B2B lead generation tool. Means that we help B2B companies find customers. And in a moment of madness, I offer to get my 2-day work tear down today by these 2 professionals.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, let me see. I'm going to try something real quick. I haven't played around with the multi. Yeah, like everybody's side by side like this, but I think it might be better the other way. Yeah, definitely not like that. What do you guys think? This way or this way? Preference? No?
The first one.
All right, there we go. All right, so let's get started. What I was thinking is I'm just going to pull up Solidify, and let me add that real quick. Add a screen share as well. Give me 1 second.
I'm weirdly excited about this. I know it's gonna be like a lot of criticism, but I think this is gonna be very, very constructive because it's something I was looking forward to since I built it.
Excellent. That's really good to hear. All right, hold on. Let me see. I gotta move this around for a second, and then I can put this up. Wait, do y'all see my screen shared right now or no?
Not yet.
Okay, hold
No.
on. Showing screen. There it is. Again, audio only or remove other. Oh no. How do I? Give me 1 second. I'm having a problem with it. Give me 1 sec. I think, I see why. All right, I'm gonna hide you, Florin. I'm gonna show this in the screen. Florin, can you? Perfect. Can everybody hear Florin?
Not at the moment.
Florin, say something for me. No. Oh man. Okay, so BeLive is only gonna let me show four streams at one time. So I didn't know that because I've never had 4 people in there. All right, so let's do this then. We're gonna take a look with Florin, and we're going to maybe we just talk through it without showing, because everybody else can see Solidify. And actually, I'll tell you what, I can come off.
You can just replace my face with the website for like 20 minutes, and then we can talk about it, because it's I think my opinion about it is definitely not very relevant, because it goes without saying that I think it's a good idea to make the website like this, but then whenever we've run paid ad campaigns, it seemed like it's not converting as expected. So maybe I'm not the best guy to talk about our website.
Can we hear? We can't hear Jason then, can we?
No, he's gone.
There we go.
Yes.
All right, so then let's do this. I'm going to pull Florin down. I can hear Florin, and I'll put the website up, and then we can start tearing down the website. And if Florin, if you've got something to jump in with, then I'll just trade you out. Sound good?
Sure.
All right, perfect. All right, here we go. And there we go. So let's get started. What do you guys think on this homepage? And I can scroll down, scroll up, however you guys want me to do on this.
So why don't we orient the viewer watching the stream with the page? Could you just kind of take us through the homepage?
Yep.
A slow scroll.
Okay. So here we go. We've got our top area. Never spend time prospecting again, ever. A little view on what one of the leads looks like. Talk to your ideal customer profile. Talks about the different areas of what the system does. And has a little deeper dive. What else is included? Search engine for small businesses. Solidify uses machine learning to find prospects for, and it has our main areas that you're using this for. Make life easy for your sales team. Hundreds of companies using Solidify. Find prospects in less than 60 seconds. Want to see it in action? There's your scheduled demo. What users are saying. Questions for us, and then footer. So I have a number of notes on this. Y'all want to go first, though? Or what do you think next, Matthew?
I mean, generally, I'd like to just comment on the content. I think that you're hitting a lot of different points in terms of talking to your prospect. I really like the outcome-oriented statements. And the fact that we're able to see some screenshots of the product. I'm always a little suspect when I come to a beautifully designed website, but then I'm looking at it and seeing like, well, what is it going to look like when I get the keys to the car? And it's just like illustrated examples and whatnot. It just, I sometimes pump the brakes a little bit. So it's good that you're showing some screenshots. I like the outcome-oriented headlines. But probably the first piece of feedback I would give you is to me, this is really a one-pager design with a, you've added an about and a contact and a call to action with that start free trial. But I would like to see a little bit of this content spread across multiple pages, because there's just a lot of messages that are hitting me, and I have to really scroll all the way down that page and consume each section. So I would probably first start by breaking some of these out. What do you guys think?
I completely agree.
Yeah, I would agree as well. And I also think like the order in which some of the content is on the page, like some of the stuff like kind of stood out to me. Like I really liked never spend time prospecting again ever, find targeted lists of your personalized outreach. I think that's kind of better than find all your ideal customers within minutes.
Yeah, I felt like this right here was a bit wordy. Like this whole
Yeah.
section was really wordy, and I feel like you've got a similar message in multiple places. But I really do like that. Find targeted lists for your personalized outreach, or I don't know. Just I feel like this especially is too much. One of the things that I was going to compare on this, actually, let me see if this is going to work. Yeah, there we go. On Hunter.io, which is also a similar kind of lead gen system. It's not the same. It's just similar kind. Is that it's very quick, and then it offers some value right off the bat. And I know that your system might be difficult to do something like this with, but it might be worth looking at something like this where you can just say like, find me a lead right now. Get me somebody right now. And I like this 1-line, 3-word kind of initial statement right there. So yeah, I felt like this area was definitely too wordy. It took me too long to read it, and I kind of breezed by it.
It's also another opportunity for you to show off a screen from your UI. A very popular thing is to either put like a monitor or something like a 3D morphed, transformed screenshot. But you're trying to make an impression right off the bat, and you've got a powerful statement. Find your ideal customers within minutes. Yeah, I think that we can lighten the language a little bit so it's a little bit more concise. But I feel like there's an opportunity to have some visual that accompanies it. And I am now scrolling down to like see, okay, what does it look like?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, Florian, do you have analytics on this stuff? Like, was there a reason you put these things together? I'm going to take myself off so you can answer that question. But yeah, I would really like to know, like, do you have an analytics? Like, why did you put it this way? Did you have some reason for doing it? And let's see what Florian says on that. What do you think, Florian?
I think you all make a very good point, and I wasn't very well decided between using one of the two headlines. Both are wordings used by people whenever I show them a demo. The term ideal customer profile, just as the term account-based marketing used in other tools with the same kind of meaning behind it. They're usually concepts that are understood by my target market, but at the same time, if I could use a more simple wording, then I think it would definitely be better. And I think it's a very good point. I can A/B test that in a week, try and switch between the wordings of the second headline with the first headline. And also, can you quickly go maybe later to the about page where we do have a monitor with the tool and see if that's better? I can also make like a 2-minute demo video that I can put when people click on the monitor. It can pop out and show like a 2-minute demo of the tool. If you think that's a good idea, under the headline.
I think it is, because I've used the tool, and it's a very nice tool. Your filtering tools are excellent. Like, they're filtered in ways that many other tools don't do. And I think that not showing that is doing a disservice there, because from many people that would use this thing, if they could see how well it filters, I think like your sale is done with that. And if they feel like they get the results from that, I think that's a easy value right there. All right.
Okay.
Any other notes before we move on?
This is very helpful.
Okay. I'm going to put the screen back up.
Another note that I would make is I have an affinity for typography, and as well as using headlines and content to as a design tool and really telling a story with it. So I do have a little bit of a nitpicky on the headlines, just consistent casing. Whether you do sentence casing or whether you do headline casing, you've kind of got a mix where it's find all and then ideal customers is capitalized. It's not really a proper noun to me, so I probably wouldn't capitalize ideal customers. And then whether you use punctuation or not. Again, these are just little nitpicky details, but like find all your ideal customers within minutes, no punctuation, never spend time prospecting again, ever, periods, then talk to your ideal customer profile, no punctuation. And so I personally, I mean, it's a style decision. I like sentence casing, I like outcome-oriented headlines, and I like punctuation. But whatever you do, just kind of stick with it, because it's kind of like one way on one section, another way on another section.
Yeah, that kind of thing actually drives me nuts sometimes. Like I didn't even notice it until Matthew brought it up. But when it's on my sites, if a designer or a project manager, or whatever, has added that kind of stuff and is not consistent, we change that real quick. So yeah, for sure. I think it's a great perception on that, Matthew.
On that same note, the same thing is really kind of for the graphics. Like if you look at the icons, you've got like this outline 2-color, and then going down, it's like a 3D graphics, where the other ones were like flat icons, and now you've got these like charts, like those right there. And then, yeah, like those are flat, and then scroll down a little bit more. Yeah, now these are like 3D charts with like more colors. And then when you go down even further, then you've got back to these other ones. And then that image right there, the bigger one, like scroll back up a little bit. Yeah, right there. Then that one's just like a completely different style as well. And I know that's probably when looking for stock art, you have to find something that's like relevant to the copy, but it's also very inconsistent in terms of style.
Yeah.
You've got like 3 different styles on the homepage already.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely agree there. Another thing that kind of, I don't know, maybe a criticism I would have is you've got a lot of opportunities for call to action, probably all driving towards start free trial, but you've got start free trial in the top, and then in your hero at in the establishing shot of the page, you have try it out for free. And then you scroll down and it says start your free trial today. And then you scroll down and another primary is grab your free trial today, and then schedule custom demo. All calls to actions that you have throughout it. I would probably, I think that you should do some A/B testing, but I believe that you should be more consistent, like grab versus start, like those types of things. If you're going to say it one way on a page, say it one way on the page. Versus I'm like, well, is grabbing a free trial different than scheduling a custom demo? And I kind of have that click anxiety where I'm saying, is this doing the same thing? So a little bit more standardization on your primary calls to action would be my recommendation.
Cool. So in addition to that, one of the things that I'm seeing, sorry, my Slack is like going nuts. I just turned this thing off. I thought I paused it and it's not pausing. There we go. Okay, so something else that I didn't see on here that I would really, really like to see right in this area here, right underneath try it for free or whatever it is that you end up putting in this area, is I would really like to see social proof right away. When I went and took a look at your competitors, and I looked, by the way, competitors I looked at were webscraper.io, findthatlead.com, seamless.ai, a few other, hold on, I got my list somewhere. I looked at a number of other competitors, and all of them had that social proof. So it had a list of all of the different large businesses and small businesses that were using it, and then the testimonials right there. And I think that your system is fairly widely used. I looked at your analytics, and you had a lot of hits on the site and a lot of hits in the app, especially. So what was, my question would be like, why is there a reason why you don't have that? So I'm gonna let him answer that real quick. Is there, so the question is like, why not have social proof right away?
The answer is stupid. It's anti-clickmatic. So the answer is that we did not really have time to shoot like beautiful testimonials with the users. And the second reason is that we don't really have those really big names, like Uber is not using our app. I'm not sure why Uber uses like Seamless.ai. I cannot explain that. Like, what are they doing? Looking for drivers, but yeah, we don't have like the Microsoft
but still.
That's okay. And also, you mentioned like you didn't have time to make beautiful videos. They don't need to be beautiful. A lot of time, testimonials that convert better are the crappy looking ones, because it's just some guy on his cell phone recording a video in his office or whatever, talking about using your product and what he got out of it, and put that in like a 60-90 second little video, and that's good enough. One of the first things I did for conversion crimes, I think, is we asked some of our first customers, we just gave them like a list of 3 or 4 questions and said, hey, just make a video and answer these questions and send it back to us. And they sent it back. We didn't even get on a call or anything. And then we just edited it into like a 2-minute video. We just took like the things we liked and edited it. So it doesn't have to be complicated.
Awesome. Okay, we've got a couple of those sent by people that just wanted to share their
I would definitely put those up. I would probably do your list of logos in there. You're not targeting enterprise businesses.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need Microsoft up there anyway. Like I know you did a lifetime deal, so you've got probably a fair number of people using the system, or at least that have signed up for the system and are quote unquote paying for it. Put their logos up. Like you could say, used by, however many hundreds or thousands of people you have on there. In the very least, have that. And then if you have those videos, something that I've done is that when I do my demo calls, especially on lifetime deal demo calls, is when I take them through it, I then ask them, can you give me a quick testimonial? Because I just took you through it and they're super pumped about it. And I just turn my video off, so it's not showing me. And I just say like, hey, what do you think? Tell me about it. And can I use this on the website? They do a real quick, sometimes a minute, sometimes 5-minute testimonial. I just save that. And then I've got a testimonial I can just put up on the site. And it works great. It works really, really, really well. So, think about that. And you could even.
That's an amazing insight.
Yeah. All right.
You're gonna be there
how
as
many
well.
how many customers do you have in your system?
So there are 2,500 sign-ups so far,
Mhm.
and maybe about 700 that paid anything at any point.
Cool.
About
Yeah, I
500
mean-
of those are lifetime users, but it's not like 2.
Yeah, so I mean, even like I know once you get to a certain number, and I think that's enough, just putting like trusted by over 700 companies,
Mhm.
like just, and then you can put like a couple of the logos on there, because seeing like 700, it's like, oh, wow. That's one of the things we did with 16 personalities, is the number of people that took the test. At the time when we first started, it was like 5 million or something. When we put it up there, it was still quite a lot for the thing, but now it's at like 150 million or something. I don't even know. And it's just like, that's a huge social proof there. So especially if you can get it where it can, where you update it, where it can grow.
Yep. And if you're going to do those metrics, I mean, how many searches have you had? How many templates have been built? How many, like, I would really like to know, like,
Those are other good numbers to use.
how many leads have been delivered? Like, I think you're probably going to have 3 million.
Yes.
Or 3. Okay.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's a great number to put up.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of the customers, put up over 3 million leads generated for our customers. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
can reach out to some of the people that are using this all the time and ask them, like how many sales have you gotten? Because really, like at the end of the day, like I'm more interested in how much money people make rather than how many leads are created. But like if you have 3 million leads and like $40 million or $500 million, whatever, generated using the system. That's solid social proof. And if you can additionally have the video of those people saying, yeah, we made tons of money using this system, that's killer right there.
Yeah, we've got a couple of users, like maybe like 10 of them, that have literally built their business around it.
Get those.
Yeah, tell their story.
Yeah, I mean, get those, put them up there. That's fantastic. All right. So, any other notes on this? I'm going to put the site back up and maybe scroll down a little bit.
Bye.
All right. Yeah.
So one other glaring thing to me is if I'm the prospect coming in here and evaluating is Solidify versus any other competitor, what I want to use as a lead gen tool, I see try it out for free, but so I know that means that there's probably a paid model. Okay. How much does it cost? So yeah. I think the glaring thing that's missing, that's probably contributing to your bounce rate, is there's no pricing page. Even if I know it's a free trial, I still want to know, like, when it's not a free trial, is this like twice as expensive as a competitor? Is it cheaper? Like, where does it fall in the spectrum? So
yeah, also, like, does it fit my budget? You know, like, should I even invest my time in doing the trial if I'm not sure if it fits the budget or not?
Yeah,
for the tool.
And in my opinion, the pricing page is the most important page, the most important converting page on the entire site. And, there are certain times when it's reasonable not to have a pricing page or to say, call us, but that's going to be more for enterprise sales. And this is a small business tool. So I think that taking a look at that pricing page would be really, really important. I know that it's built into the app portion, but maybe we can hear from Florin real quick on what he thinks about that. So hold on one second, put him back on. There we go. What do you think, Florin?
This was done on purpose. I understand it's debatable, and I am debating it myself most of the time. So I would definitely A/B test it. But my first idea was that if you're just expecting this to be find that lead with a different interface, then it's gonna seem expensive, because it's like 3 times more expensive to find that lead. So you kind of need to see the data first and understand that it's 10 times better for your specific use case before seeing that it's 3 times as expensive. But I think you all make a very good point. My idea, the reasoning, I'm just explaining the reasoning, not arguing that it's a better reasoning. The reasoning behind it was that, sure, I would have that stress moment where I don't know how expensive it is, but I would still sign up and see what's up or what the tool has to offer. So my reasoning was that I'm optimizing for free trial signups and worry about the conversion between free and paid afterwards. But for those 20% of the people that say, like, it's way too expensive, it doesn't fit my budget, and have the courage to reach out and say that to us, then we get those people on a conversation, and it converts very well even after they say it's way too expensive for us. So my reasoning was to build up the stress and have them say, like, oh, holy shit, this is very useful but very expensive as well for some of the people, right?
Yeah.
But you can argue for or against it for sure.
I understand your point that your primary fear is, hey, people are evaluating us against competitors. It's not an apples to apples comparison. So if I'm just like skimming and I see a number, and then I skim on this competitor site and I see a number and this looks 3 times as expensive, I may write it off. I understand your fear there, but I think it's more of a content challenge for you to say, this isn't an apples to apples comparison. It may even be that you could offer some type of a more entry level tier that has less functionality in order to compete with the find that lead or the lower cost competitors. But I really think that you will probably see, I know it sounds inverse, but you think, oh, well, if they see the price, they won't sign up for the free trial. But I think instead you're probably losing people. People are bouncing because they just don't know. You're not even giving me a ballpark So I'm just going to go over to here where they do give me the number that I'm looking for. So I would A/B test it, and I would consider how you can thread the needle on the pricing page to say, listen, here's a number, but this is what all the competitors provide. We do so much more, or the quality is so much better. That's your content challenge.
Yeah.
So your expectation is that there is something that I can solve with content so that my conversion rate actually goes up with the pricing page rather than going down. Because my reasoning was that if I get people on the free trial, there's still a chance for me to explain how we're better in the onboarding sequence, maybe in the demo video, maybe they try it out and see for themselves. But if you're right, and then we can get more free trial subscriptions, then we're gonna have the best of both worlds.
I mean, if you were to say, hey, I just am not comfortable showing the pricing, then I think you need to show more of the product. Because right now, when I hit your homepage, I see a couple screenshots. It doesn't really put me in the shoes of like how easy it is to search and how great the results are. And like you need like screencast videos, or like you need to be a little bit more transparent and show more of your product. Or you need to provide pricing so that I feel comfortable starting a free trial. But if I can't see it and I have to start a trial and I don't know how much it's going to cost, I'm very likely to just bounce.
Yeah.
Another, like, to kind of go more about the product, you could have like a product tour that kind of goes more into the product instead of a pricing page if you're going that route. Yeah.
I feel pretty strongly that you're targeting small business. You're not targeting enterprise. And small businesses want to know the price. You know, like if it's an enterprise tool, they expect that like, oh, it's got to be customized to me, and that's a different story. But as a small business, like I want to know. Like one of the things that drives me nuts is when vendors won't tell me how much things cost. And if somebody won't tell me how much something costs, it's probably too expensive for me to afford. So I think that you would do better with that page, and it gives you a lot more opportunity to sell it. Like, you know, that content challenge that Matthew was talking about, like that's that. And you know, there's I really liked what Quinn said as well about trying to do a low level entry price where you can show people, you know, do a $50 a month thing that just limits them a whole bunch. You know, I don't think that there's much of a problem with that, is there? On your side, like, is it going to dilute any like brand that you're trying to put out or anything like that? And then also thinking about this, like talking about price on these kinds of things, Seamless.ai, which we use, is $125 a month, but you have to pay them for a year, right? And yours is like, what's your starting price?
400
per month. But with 400 per month, I'm probably going to use it like one time for that 1 month. I'm going to get all the leads I want, and then I'm probably going to cancel after that. So, you know, because I could get, you know, 100,000 leads. I'm like, all right, well, I'm good. Thanks so much for your 400. You know, here's your $400. I appreciate your time, and then that's that. So I think it's kind of less expensive than these other systems in a lot of ways.
Sure, I'll do. It is when you have like you do, you have a sales team that actually uses it, understands that, like, for sure. But I have to help people understand before I can make that statement. Like I have to explain before they understand it. What I want to do, and I can put this up tonight, I can use solidify.net, and I can do like an alternate version, drive all the traffic through ads on solidify.net and test it with a pricing page. I have all the data for solidify.com for the same campaigns. I know what to benchmark it against. The only reason why I haven't put it before is that we get a lot of calls or like demos with people that are just curious what the pricing is. We're not being dicks about it. Like, we're definitely answer the question when it's asked. But it's still a good moment to convert somebody when you have a 30-minute conversation with them.
Yeah. The other thing that I've seen, and I think that if you take a look at the SaaS pricing guide from Price Intelligently, you know, one of their recommendations is to have a pricing committee within your team. and constantly change your pricing, like, constantly optimize your pricing. So, like, I think that this is, if you haven't done it already, think about working on pricing changes every 3 or 4 months in your system, at least for the first year, to see how things go. Like, one of my favorite companies that does this all the time is Lead Pages, leadpages.net. They change their pricing constantly. And I know that they've had something like a 15 or 20-fold income change in revenue based just on their pricing, just on pricing changes. And by the way, if somebody knows anybody at Lead Pages who can verify that, I'd love to know about that. That was just what I heard. But I do know I've heard from multiple people that it's some huge amount. So maybe just play around with it. Play around with it a bunch. See how people react to that. All right, what do you guys got next? What's any other notes for Florian on the pricing page?
No, but I had a question about the CTA. Try it out for free. Were there other things that you tried there? Like maybe like get your first, 100 leads free, or like some kind of thing they can get?
No, but I think that's the first thing I should test, because that's the call to action behind my outreach, and it's going way better than the funnel of ads, website, and sign up. My outreach is going a lot better with that call to action, and I actually, now that you mention it, I think the call to action is stupid. Like, I think it doesn't say anything. Yeah.
Okay.
What else is missing?
To me, I really appreciate the, got any questions for us? I dove into all of those. I like your transparency. Where does the data come from? Is it GDR compliant and all GDPR compliant, all those different things. I appreciate that transparency with the frequently asked questions. But what I don't see here, right, is why is this better than a competitor? Like, what are you doing that is justifying that higher monthly spend because it's not the same? I see that there's a lot of filtering, and maybe these capabilities that you already have on the site are why it's better, but I don't know, just as a naive, like, I'm just a small business owner and I just did a Google search and I got here, like, what makes you different? That's what's missing for me.
Would you expect a video or like a written explanation?
I like it all, to be honest. I believe in like taking a core content message and then putting it into, I mean, you can make it into an infographic, and it can be a feature chart with tables and checkboxes, or it could be like, there's a lot of different ways that you could do it. And I don't say, oh, you should definitely do this one way. I think you should have a lot of different techniques to tell that story.
Is it an option to have them all in a very long page?
This is just personal preference to me, but like the one-pager website, I understand where it came from, and like long scrolls, and you keep the person on one page and you don't have them like the IA challenge of having people bounce a lot of different pages. But I think there's some value in being able to have the goal of this page is, and you have a call to action and a purpose for every single page. I like breaking it out. I think your homepage should be driving you to 5 different areas, but on each page, there's a clear and defined point of the page.
Yeah, I agree with that. One of the concepts that we kind of talk about a lot is one page, one goal. So each page should have like one goal, or like one main call to action that you're trying to lead them to, and one main thing that you're trying to communicate to them. And then the home page is kind of not really one page, one goal, because you want to lead them to those different pages depending on where they're at in their journey. Like maybe they want to go to pricing, maybe they want to take the product tour, maybe they want to learn, whatever, find out where the data is coming from. And so the homepage really serves as being able to give them enough information where they can easily find the page where they're going to get more in-depth information to accomplish that goal.
I made a huge note of this. That's an extraordinary point.
Something else I'm seeing in line with that is that you have some really different user types that would come into the system. And, I don't know all the different user types you've got, but I do know that there's a big difference between somebody who's just getting started doing lead gen and somebody who knows what they're talking about and has done this before. And the thing that I see in here let me scroll down to it real quick, down here, is that you've got, you know what, actually, I don't think we can see.
Seeing
Yeah, sorry. Too many screens open. Give me one sec. I'm going to take you off, Florian. There we go. All right, so the thing that I'm seeing, let me see if I've got the right screen. I have too many screens open. There we go. So the thing that I'm seeing here is that he's got this talk to your ideal customer profile, and then business category, location, job titles, technical issues, these things. For somebody who's just getting started, they're like, oh, that's useful. That's really helpful stuff. But for somebody who's been doing this for a long time, seeing stuff like keyword filter, website attributes, that's like nobody else does website attributes. The number of pages, social media links, Alexa rank, organic traffic estimates, update frequency. And I know that there's other things in his system in line with these kinds of advanced filters that's what everybody wants. And he's got it hidden down at the very bottom of this profile area. So my recommendation is going to be break out your different user types, however they are. I don't know all the different user types. And then give them this information based on that user type. Like I said, like it could be just new person, more advanced person, but I'm sure it's going to be like lead gen or agency owner or salesperson or whatever that would dictate how experienced they are, and probably also potentially based on team size. Hold on one second. We pull him back up and see what he thinks about that. All right. So while he's pulling up, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah. So one thing that we did recently for a client site is they had 3 different target customers. It was like content creators, agency owners, and I can't remember the third one right now. And so what we did is on the homepage, we kind of made specific links for each one of these. And then when you clicked on that page, it was the same information, but targeted towards that specific user. Like, what do they care about? What do they need to know about this? What features do they care about? And all that information. So it's literally the same page 3 times, like the same format, like images, like, well, maybe they kind of change a little bit, but it was just, we presented that information in the words that really, and the features that mattered to that specific target audience. So if you've got more than one target audience, it's kind of like, are you an agency or you are team size? I don't know how you're going to break that up, but you can kind of make like a page that maybe one talks about more advanced features, like he was talking about, like with the filters, and the other one's kind of like, for someone just getting started, it's talking about the location, the job titles, and how it's going to help them do XYZ.
Yeah.
The thing is, so I think I agree in theory a lot with, I think that's golden. I haven't figured out a way to do it in practice. So on the home, so I agree that there should be, and it's almost done, the persona specific landing page that I can drive traffic that's specifically digital agencies. And then I talk of how Solidify helps digital agencies specifically with features built for them. On the other hand, when talking about the level of experience, first of all, I don't know how to split the traffic based on the level of experience, because some digital agencies have sales teams of 10 people. They are like a factory of sales. They have a very definite pipeline. They know what they're doing, have been doing it for years. And then the other agency that is still called a digital agency has like this one guy that handles sales, marketing, and account management.
So I have a dedicated sales team and a pipeline, or I'm just getting started with my sales journey. Like, you can divide it something like that.
Right.
Those aren't the right words, but
yeah.
like,
You can have people self-select based on your language. I think that bifurcating by audience makes a lot of sense. Like for having a section that's like solutions, and then for digital agencies, for small business, or even you could go and vector into industries as well, you know, and even though it is small business, but it's small business for healthcare and whatnot. And these landing pages are very, I mean, they're not completely duplicated in content, but the look and feel of them can borrow the exact same look and feel. And then just in the headlines, you're saying healthcare professionals instead of, you know, whatever your other industries that you focus on.
So we've got a couple of Facebook users that are asking a couple of relevant questions. One of them I'm just curious about. Do you think there would be an uptake for a done-for-you concierge service? I think it's an interesting idea. I don't know if you want to do it or if it's worth your time, worth your money. And I think actually you do this already, or you have done this already, and maybe you're trying to get away from doing this. So it's just a concept. And then somebody else said, and I think this is really relevant to the breaking apart your user types, is case studies. So, you know, and that goes back to your social proof as well. So I don't know if it's worth talking about the done for you right now because we're doing the teardown, but let's just analyze that at the end if we have a little bit of time, or you maybe just answer the question at the end if we have a little bit of time. So, all right, so we've been going for almost an hour already, y'all,
Wow.
and it's I feel like we've only covered this first page. I think that
I wanted to do you a favor, and I haven't done many pages. Just thought about it in advance and wanted to be nice to you.
Perfect. All right. So, any other? Here, let's actually do this real quick. I want to take a look at a couple of your competitors and see how they've got things done. So let's take a look. Would you rather look at enterprise stuff first? Would you rather look at small business first? Florent, what do you think?
I would do enterprise first.
All right, let's take a look at Seamless.
Okay.
I know it's different, but it's still a competitor.
I would look at ZoomInfo or Apollo.io.
Apollo?
But yeah, we can try Seamless because they have like a pattern disrupt type of homepage. It's just like one button, one call to action, and 20 videos, testimonials.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Exactly. So we've got, all right, hold on, let me pull this up. Yeah, so this is what they're doing now. And I think that their main sales channel is direct outreach, but I don't know. Do you know what it is?
No, I just know there are a lot of people using it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they sell.
We use this tool. So yeah, and you know what they've done is they've really pushed the social proof side. They've been doing it for a while. So I would say it again.
It's not a bad tool.
Yeah, it's not. It's a very nice tool. But I think that, you know, they've very much gone like, here's the main value proposition and the sign up. You got social proof. Here's a little bit about the tool in one area, and then here's just social proof all the way down. And so the fact that they've been doing it for a long time says to me that the social proof is probably really, really powerful in their eyes. So maybe worth trying an A/B test that pushes that social proof really hard. What do you think?
I think I'll send you an email for a testimonial.
All right. All right. And then here's Apollo.
You have to show us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had it going. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take you down.
Take you down.
Take you down. All right. So here's Apollo. Actually, let me go back and show everybody Seamless real quick. So this was Seamless. Seamless is super simple. Sign up.
Yeah, their design is pretty bad.
And then, you know, here's this. I mean, I don't know. I don't love the look and feel, but I think that they do a lot of business, like a lot of business. They make a lot of money. So yeah, you see what I'm saying? They've made it very simple though. And I kind of wonder, was this 2/3 of their page? No, half of their page is social proof. That's saying a lot that they're doing that.
Well, you lean into your strengths. So a strength is they've been around for a long time and they have a ton of customers. So of course you're going to play to that. But I think as you're trying to come in where there's an incumbent in the competitive space, you should dial up your competitive strengths. And I keep hearing the ability to filter and the UI, and like it's a different game than some of these other players. Well, then you really need to amp up the amount that you're showing your product. And now don't hear me say like social proof doesn't matter. Of course it matters. Of course I care about are other people using it, and should you have it in the like top 30 of your page? Yeah, probably, and probably right below the fold when on your hero shot, similar to we were just looking at one of the other ones, Apollo, you skipped over to. So I think that you should do that, but also recognize like they're using their strength and they're pushing their strength.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good insight. Really, really good. So here's Apollo real quick. Just gonna flip through it real fast. Their page is a lot shorter than his. I think it's about, 2/3. His covers some process, a little bit of social proof down here, and then they've got some directories and then the sign up right there. So they're pushing users to sign up. They're not pushing them over to pricing. And then it looks like they've broken it up by the different roles, different workflows, and different intelligence, which I like this. I like the way they did that. Another one, like I said, was Hunter. I'll go ahead and pull this up right now just so everybody can see it. It's a little simpler. Once again, they're following something similar to what I think that Seamless was doing, and they've got, except they've got the value right here on the front, then a quick bit about how the product works, and then they're not pushing the social proof nearly as much. And then they're not breaking it apart by users in their main navigation. Or user types in their main navigation. Let me go back to my other screen and give me 1 second. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and pull Florin back up real quick. There we go. All right. So there he is. We're going to be out of time fairly soon. We haven't looked at the app at all. So maybe we want to let's just do it on the marketing site, because I don't think we're going to have time to delve into the app in 3 or 4 minutes. Other notes on the front on the marketing site from everybody.
This is a personal choice, and I don't knock you for doing it. I understand that it's a group of friends that created this product, and that's you're leaning into that. But know that you're pushing that as a part of your brand. If this is a premium service, I would say if it's a premium service where it's like competitor, if I compare this Solidify to my competitors, it's more expensive, but it's got this and this and this. And I think that big things that you need to do is break out of a single page, and you ought to have these different sections. You ought to talk to your verticals. You ought to have landing pages for that. You ought to go into more detail about the product. Your about page, I don't know. Personal opinion, I always try to present companies I've worked with and make them look as absolute massive as possible. And the narrative here is, there's 3 friends a couple years ago, we got together and created this. And I like that story, but it doesn't scream like, and this is cutting edge. This is the big, everybody uses Solidify. Like, it's just a little personal for my taste. So I might make it a little bit, you can still position yourself as the leadership team. And y'all are the top level, CEO, CTO, VP, got that, cool. But like, I also want to feel like there's a whole team supporting y'all, and are you on what's your technology stack? And I don't know, maybe you need to think about audience, and maybe technology stack doesn't matter to your audience. Maybe a small business owner, if you're in the Amazon cloud or Azure cloud, it doesn't really make a difference to them anyway. But I don't know. My note is, for the about page, I would probably make it a little bit more corporate-y and lose the personal narrative. My 2 cents.
I kind of disagree with that.
Okay.
Me, I like to make brands have a personality because I think that it definitely makes you stand out. For example, with my SaaS user testing platform, if you go to all of my competitors, they all use user in the name. It's like user testing, user analytics, user insights, like all of this type of stuff. And they all kind of have the same kind of corporate-y language on it. And then we're conversion crimes, and we're talking about people that are stealing money from your website and all kinds of kind of silly stuff. And it just makes people more connected to the brand in that sense. But it also depends on the audience as well. I still think you can be professional and kind of give off the vibe that you want, and also tell that underlying story as you were like 3 guys that started this and now you're here, right? So I mean, I love to add personality to brands. That's kind of like our specialty, to kind of, it's what really connects people to a brand and makes them like really, really love it and stay connected.
I think you both have the same point, actually.
I had a few other notes as well. I noticed that you don't have a chatbot on the system. So I think that it's worth, given what you do and the price point you're at, it's worth having that chatbot on there. It's worth taking the time to set that up. So that was one. Let's see. I think it's also worth like really reading through all of the text again. I think having someone go through and simplify all the text across the site, and like the way it is now is not bad, but it could be improved, and and it would improve your conversion rates. I think that we had a whole bunch of other pieces in there. I'm still kind of curious about you actually brought up like the try it free approach, or the giving value in the first page. I think that that's a really, really good piece that should be considered. And I also took a look at your some of the other areas, not just here, but like I noticed that you weren't listed on Capterra. Your Facebook page had almost nothing in it. Your LinkedIn page had nothing in it. I didn't see a YouTube page. YouTube could be so good. It could be so good. There's so many things you could do with that. Because you've got so many great case studies. Like you could just have somebody work for 2 days and create some just rocking awesome, just run through a bunch of lists. Say, like, are you targeting doctors? Let me just show you what you're going to get, and just show your sample page, because they're going to see the samples anyway. And you could just do this for every single industry. And I think you just create so many sales off of that. There's so much stuff that your tool does that makes it, that is really valuable. And people would just be like, people would buy it just based on that. People forget that YouTube is the second largest search engine. And most of my sales come in off of SEO, specifically from videos and from the articles we build around videos. And I think that if you're not doing that, especially for something like this, that you're missing out on a big opportunity. I also noticed throughout the entire site, you don't have any pop-ups anywhere, in that you don't have any escape pop-ups. When people are trying to leave the site, you're not capturing them anywhere. You don't have any bottom bars. You don't have any top bars. You're not pushing any additional notifications. I don't see a roadmap anywhere about what you're building. At least it wasn't easy to find. I also noticed that there was no blog. I felt like when I look at this site, I want to see coming in. I don't want to see about first, because nobody cares about you. Like if you look at your analytics, about is like at the very end, and it's because nobody gives a shit. So put your product, put your users, put your tell people about themselves and how this tool helps them first. Then talk about the specifics of the tool. Then go into get a demo, get started, pricing. I think pricing, you should definitely try it. And like they said, then log in, all of that stuff. Those were some of my big notes. And also, blog at the top, blog at the bottom, whatever. I make my sales off of SEO. So that's my number one sales channel. It might not be yours. I know that you're an email pro and you're probably going in that direction. But something I tell every SaaS owner is go ahead and start your SEO now, because you're always 6 to 8 months away from being effective with it from the time you start. So, and I took a look at your SEO and I saw you really just started ranking in January. So start it now, because if you do 10 case studies and go ahead and write articles around them, you're going to start ranking like October for those, and you're going to start.
Yeah, I'm investing a lot into that. Like we got started with 2 agencies, so that's gonna be dramatically changed in 6 months.
Perfect. So go ahead and put it up now, though. Like, put that stuff up live.
Well, part of that will enrich itself just by the nature of you adding more pages and more content. And as long as you're making sure that you're being intentional with the keywords and whatnot that you use. Before we break, I wanted to add one other technique that I think that you should use, and that's exploring having a secondary call to action. Right now, you have a big ask, which is sign up for my product. And then what I think that you should do, and one of the things that we've done at Instant IQ that's been really, really helpful, is there are people in the sales funnel that aren't ready to take that jump yet, but they still want to know more about your product. So one way that you can do this is you could offer a bi-monthly or monthly or weekly, whatever frequency, but a sales webinar that is just like, I can be a fly on the wall and I can just register and not say a thing and just watch and see, put myself in the shoes of the user and say, okay, would I find value from using this tool, ahead of like scheduling a demo where like I've got to talk to a salesperson and I got to schedule a time and all of this. So having a lighter weight way for people to engage with you, I think will do a lot to help you, because if you can get somebody to see the product and start visualizing, well, like what would it be like if I was using this, without somebody having to put their name, fill out their email, like sign up for a trial. Do I have to put a credit card down? Like all these things that are like barriers to me engaging with you. Try to remove as many of them as possible.
Yeah.
Awesome point.
Sure. All right, so how are you guys doing on time? Matthew, Quinn, Florin, you got another couple minutes to answer some people's questions?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so I'm just going to put up a few notes from our listeners, and then also for anybody who's out there who's got questions, go ahead and throw them up. And I think that we're like 10 or 15 seconds behind everybody watching, so they're going to put them up in like 30 seconds, not 10 seconds. So anyway, throw up your questions or your notes, and we're gonna I'm gonna post up a few things from that users have been posting recently. All right, so first off, this is the most recent one. So somebody was saying really good feedback, enjoyed listening to the panel's insights. So thank you guys. You guys are awesome. All right, so we got that. And then somebody posted up, stop being modest, Florin. You got get more bang on your site. Show how darn good you are. You are good. Your stuff is amazing. So post it for sure. Actually, so that everybody can see our faces. Do it like that for right now. Extreme close up. All right. We had somebody say stats on various data points is huge. I think so too. Food for thought. So that was a note on something else we were talking about earlier. We talked about Apollo. Apollo has been spamming somebody recently. I've never signed up for their stuff, but now I'm not going to. Let's see. We talked about the done for you concierge service. Any notes on that? What do you think about that?
It's something that I'm doing that have done a lot in the past, and it's still something that I like and enjoy doing, and it's very helpful for our users. Actually yesterday I spent like 2 hours with one of our users helping and fixing their outbound and helping them out. I do try to find more scalable ways of doing that. So I'm looking to some lead gen agencies that can help me out. And what I think will be the ultimate win-win-win situation, which is they will get some consultancy leads, or some of the people that they're gonna help out will convert as customer of theirs. But then we'll have somebody that can take each one of our users and help them out with their outreach, which actually makes our product more useful in the long run. But the problem is that I'm not scalable, So if I ever want to move on to doing other stuff like putting more content out there, doing more case studies, I have to jump out of this concierge type of thing that I'm doing right now, and it's eating like at least half of my time. So I onboard every user personally. When I reach out and offer in my outreach, I offer my help a lot, and I'm being honest about it. So if people ask for my help, I try to do everything in my power to help them out, regardless if it's paid or not. But I do need to find more scalable ways to do that. We didn't have the money to do it like until a month ago, but now we have lots of money to hire people.
Perfect.
So on that, I would say, Florin, it's totally normal in the beginning days where you're wearing multiple hats and you're having to provide onboarding and customer success support. Just try to, I think you're already on the right path, but just make sure that you don't give it away so much that you couldn't provide it as a premium tier, because your goal will be to have customer success and onboarding team members that you can have them take them through. But also know that you got to have really good help documentation, because if a customer can't be successful because I literally have to have you take me through it because I couldn't figure it out on my own, it'll be negative for you. But you've got to provide really good documentation. But then there are those people who say, okay, great, but can you do it for me? Sure, I can do it for you, but here's the amount. So either have it as you kind of sell it into your monthly, or it's a package where you buy X amount of hours, or you buy X amount of search reports, or whatever it is. Just don't try not to give it away for free for too long.
All right, so we had a question here. All right, you talk about buyer segments, but what are the acquisition channels? What are people seeing before they arrive on the site? What do they know? That would impact the information you present, their readiness, and the action you want people to take. I also remember I went to a lecture by Brennan Dunn where he showed the success rates on adaptive design, changing what people see based on where they are in the buying cycle. And he saw an increase from, I want to say it was from 3 or 4% to 23% conversion rates in some places. Obviously, it's not across the board, and that's a pretty high jump, but it was substantial. And so, do you want to talk about this for just a second? And I think we're probably gonna have to wrap up pretty soon. So maybe we do this one, and if anybody has any short questions afterwards, we wrap up after that. And also, for anybody out there who's still watching, we still actually have 6 people on. Your likes would be great. Your shares would be great. Thank you for watching this. Let's finish up these last 2 questions.
So if you can share that resource, that would be very, very helpful, because I'm looking into adaptive landing pages. That would be very helpful to have a resource on that.
Oh, I think Brennan's, it's Right Message.
Yep.
Okay.
That's his company that helps do that.
Okay, awesome, cool. Okay, so until 3 weeks ago, most of our users came through referrals, or maybe no, until a month ago, they came through referrals, and since then, cold emails have been the bigger part of the traffic we're driving to the tool, and now we're starting and ramping up the ads. The idea is that we always segment by persona. So in my cold emails, even if like early stage SaaS companies is one of my personas, I segment them by the industry they're targeting, by many factors. And the way I reach out is, I know you're targeting lawyers. Here's the biggest database you're ever gonna find of lawyers. Here's how you can make use of the data, how you can build segments, how ultimately how you can use this for your own outreach. And to show what I mean, I'll share a list of 100 law firms for free, and then I do it industry by industry.
What's your call to action in those cold emails?
Get the list of 100 free leads. Because that brings me right in the middle of the sales conversation, right? Like they, actually, I end up with a question, which is, let's say we're talking about law firms, like what law area of expertise are you targeting? Like that would be my question. So the way I structure my cold emails is, the assumption is that I'm gonna send you a free list. Just help me get the right free list for you. and then I know a lot of things about what are they targeting. I know just enough to pitch the product in a very personalized fashion afterwards when they reply.
So I know that this conversation was about a site teardown, but I also have a big background in email marketing. And are you familiar with the 3-2-1 drip campaign approach about different stages of content?
Yeah.
I think that, so for those of you who are on, just quick what that is, each stage is where someone is in the buying cycle. So a stage 3, I'm already identified a solution and I'm actively looking for somebody. Stage 2, I'm aware I need something, but I'm not all the way to that. I'm not actually actively looking for a solution. Stage 1 is I have a need, but I don't even know what things are called and whatnot. I don't know what the solutions are out there. So I think as you were talking, Florin, about you've got people who are in digital agency, but somebody is like very, very well versed in lead gen, and somebody else is kind of new. You may want to structure your cold emails so that you're doing 3-2-1 content, so that you're hitting people at different stages of their journey.
Sure.
All right. So I don't think we have any other big questions. We had some other notes in here just about really about how amazing the system is and how amazing Florin is. And yeah, there's a lot of things in here, and I've also got some private messages coming in talking about how good it is. So let me wrap this thing up, or actually let me ask, any other notes from Matthew, Quinn, Florin, anything else y'all want to cover before we wrap up?
I want to take like 10 seconds to answer why I thought it's a good idea to put multiple call to actions. It might be stupid, like I'm not trying to explain why it's a good idea. I don't know. The reasoning behind it was that if people don't respond to sign up for free, they might respond to get started, or like that was the reasoning behind it, like to filter down different people that respond to different messages.
Gotcha.
On the homepage, but it might be a stupid idea. It might leave people confused. I think that's something that I can test right now.
Okay.
A/B tests.
Yeah. All right. So I want to finish up by saying that my team uses Solidify. We didn't even get to look at the app, and it's a really fantastic tool. We use it all the time. We use it to create a lot of leads, and we use it to create a lot of money. So if anybody's out there thinking like, is it worth the money? It's so worth the money, because like one sale for us covers that easy. And so, yeah, it's fantastic. One of the things we used the system for recently was to get a list of all the manufacturers in the Southeast, and any one of those sales is easily worth over $100,000 in profit for us. So, it's having a really, really good leads list that works, that is really easy to use, and we can target people really, really specifically, is so valuable. It's so valuable. So I want to make sure to throw this out there for everybody. And then finally, I want to thank you guys for being here. So thank you to Matthew and Quinn and Florin. Thank you to everybody who's sitting here watching, and everybody who's going to watch this in the future, because we don't have a huge number of people watching in the middle of the workday, but lots of people come back and look at these things. So thank you to everybody watching. We'll be doing more teardowns in the future, and thank you guys so much. This has been great. This has been really, really great.
Great job, Florin.
Yep. Good job, Florin.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was extremely helpful. Thank you, Jason, for your feedback. I'm going to turn this into an ad. Like I want to show you that I take all your feedback into consideration. Thank you so much. This is extremely helpful. It's something I haven't experienced before. And I really appreciate the fact that all your advice really came from a very knowledgeable point, and that I can tell that you've got lots of experience, and that I've heard exclusively very good points from you. Thank you so much.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm just going to turn the stream off, so if you want to stay on, you can. All right. See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.